Jeb Bush doesn't get why everybody has a problem with the fact that under his tax plan, the vast majority of the benefits from it would go towards the 1% or even the 0.1%. In fact, under his tax plan, it would cost the government $3.4 trillion in lost revenue, with 53% of the benefits going to the richest 1% of the population. Now, thankfully, for some reason, on Fox News, they're actually going to bring this up, although as a corporation, they support these sorts of policies. Apparently not when it's Jeb Bush pushing it. So here is Chris Wallace asking this question of Jeb Bush this Sunday.
Look, the benefit of this goes disproportionately to the middle class. If you look at what the middle class pays today compared to what they would pay on our tax
But
plan,
they get a 2.9% increase in after-tax income.
because higher income people pay more taxes right now, and proportionally, everybody will get a benefit, but proportionally they'll pay more with my plan than what they pay today.
Well, I mean, forgive me, sir, but 2.9 seems like it's less than 11.6.
The simple fact is 1% of people pay 40% of all the taxes. And so, of course, tax cuts for everybody is going to generate more for people that are paying a lot more. I mean, that's just the way it is.
I mean, come on, give me a break here.
That's just the way it is.
I mean, come on, give me a break.
We ream you. How are you not used to this by now? That's just the way it is. Why aren't you bending over already?
Just take it and shut up.
Seriously, that's what he's saying. And first of all, that's not the way it is. Your policy isn't law yet. That's the way you would like it to be. Now, we do have a history of similar sorts of reamings going on. I like that Chris Wallace brought it up. I love that the boldest journalism going on right now still has to be preceded by a, well, forgive me.
I wrote it down.
Forgive me. You're lying. Forgive me. I'm going to imply that you're lying to us.
A thousand pardons, sir. But I think the numbers, it's just the numbers, sir. The numbers don't add up, sir. It's not me. It's not my words.
Yeah.
This is math.
Yeah.
I apologize.
I hate math as much as you do.
Believe me.
Believe me. But that's what math is saying.
I work at Fox.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, look, he points out quite obviously, okay, 2.9% increase in after-tax income for the middle class, whatever remains of that, is good. 3% more income is certainly good. The fact that more than 3 times that benefit goes to the people at the highest tax brackets, and then he says that's just the way it is, as if there is no way that you could structure...
Ever.
First of all, you could not do the tax cuts, but if you're going to do the tax cuts, that you couldn't manipulate the numbers in a way that, okay, well, if you're rich, if we lower all of the lowest tax brackets, that affects the poor, but it also affects the rich. Okay, then we take the highest tax bracket, we put it up by 0.2% to offset it. That's impossible? I don't have a degree in economics, but apparently I could even think of it. I'm not one of the best economic minds in the country that are hanging around with Donald Trump, apparently, but that was pretty fast, and that's just off the top of my head. I could come up with all sorts of ways that we could make it more equitable, we could make it less regressive.
So Jeb Bush is saying that if you're going to have a tax cut, that just the way it is, rich people are going to get more money because they have more money and they pay more money, and that just makes more sense to everybody. Mm-hmm. But what he's not saying, and what you just said, is that you can make a tax cut just for the middle class and not cut the taxes of the rich people. Leave the top rate where it is. Don't cut their taxes. That's how you could do that. And then you could actually just give the middle class a tax cut.
Exactly.
If you want it. You could say we're going to lower the rates for people making less than $200,000. Yeah. Everybody over $300,000, that stays the same. But everybody under, that's how they could do it.
Or if you want... No, keep going.
No, that's it. That's one way. The other way is what your way. You could raise this.
You could raise the highest tax bracket, or you could institute new taxes if you wanted to, or if you didn't want to fuck around with taxes at all, but you still wanted to help out the middle class, how about instead of worrying about the total amount of money that we're bringing in terms of taxes and tax cuts and all that, how about you reallocate the money instead of putting $800 billion a year into the military, take $200 billion of that, throw it into extra spending that would actually benefit the middle class and the lower class. You could target that in a way that it doesn't benefit the top 0.1%. And they would benefit significantly in a number of different ways in terms of education, in terms of healthcare, in terms of Social Security. You could do all of those things every year.
Who's going to pay for it, John? That's what people will say.
We're already paying for it. We're paying for it right now.
I know. That's what people will say to you, though.
I know.
How are you going to pay for it? How are you going to cut the deficit?
Yeah.
How are you going to cut? Hey, by the way, let's just remember the deficit has been going up ever since they invented deficits, and we're fucking doing great.
Yeah, that's the thing also. It's never really been shown that having deficits is all that bad aside from the psychological effect of them saying it's bad.
Yes.
We've been working under the Obama administration to take it down some.
Yes.
But I hate when a Democratic president does that every year of his 2 terms, because by the time he finally takes it down to almost nothing, we elect a Republican and he just blows it out of the water
back
again.
up again. Yes,
Yeah.
and let me tell you something. So the reason why they keep the people in government and the mainstream news media keep hammering, hey, we're broke, we got to cut the deficit, we can't afford, because they don't want to, when they say we're broke and we can't afford things, they don't mean they can't afford trillion-dollar wars, trillion-dollar bank bailouts, billion-dollar oil subsidies, and prison construction. That's not what they mean. There's always money for that. You can always raise the deficit when you have to bomb somebody, or if you have to build a prison, or you have to bail out Jamie Dimon, or if you have to give some oil subsidies, or there's all you can. But you know when you can't raise the deficit, you know when they're broke, they mean they can't afford stuff like Medicare, or Social Security, or education, or roads, or bridges, or libraries, or anything that helps your life. That's what they mean when they say we're broke and we have to reduce the deficit. They don't mean that we can't keep spending $1 trillion a year on the Defense Department, which we pretty much don't need anymore the way we're doing it. We pay 13 times higher than the next 10 countries combined, or some crazy number like that. We all know how much more we're spending on the military, and no one talks about it. No one ever brings it up. Hey, how are you going to cut that military? How are you going to cut the $1 trillion we're spending on that? Nobody ever says that. Nobody ever says, hey, when are we going to go back to the pre-9/11 spending on the military? When is it? Nope, we just got to keep, because there's ISIS and there's this, and we are going nonstop. So don't believe them when they say we're broke and we have to reduce the deficit, because they're full of shit. That's just their way to make sure you don't get anything that you are entitled to in this country. And we have the money for, by the way. When Bernie Sanders says he wants to let everybody go to college for free, that's because we can afford it. Easily we can afford it, okay? Easily in this country. We're the richest country the face of the earth has ever seen, with an economy twice the size of China. Still, we can afford everything 10 times over, but those pricks don't want you to have it. Back to you, Johnny.
We could send every kid to college in this country, and it would be just a tiny fraction of the additional money that will be lost under Jeb Bush's tax proposal.
A tiny
fraction
under
of it,
the addition.
which I understand that seems insane. How could that possibly be the case? But it is the case.
It is the case.
It's 1/34th the size of the tax cuts. The tax cuts that we don't even have them yet. They want to add that to the tax cuts that we had under Bush.
Yes.
It's absurd. And again, the $3.4 trillion in additional spending that this is going to cost us, it actually is going to cost us nothing, he says, because increased economic activity, which makes all the sense in the world unless you have ever looked into the evidence of it.
But Politico probably, give us a straight talk about this. They'll let people know what's really going on inside this tax cut.
I think so.
They're probably going to call it out for a giveaway to the rich that it is. What did they say again?
Probably. They said that Trump was raising taxes on the rich.
Oh,
exactly.
Populist.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's like if I was to take a worker in here and I was to cut his pay in half and then I was to hand him $30, I've given him money.
You have given him money.
I've given him money. That is technically true. Politico.com. Technically true. I think they should go with that.